Welcome back. Now I'm joined by a very special guest, someone whose voice is heard over 100 times during the Pirates season. You heard that right. Please welcome the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Greg Brown. So I want to say, Greg, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to join me here in this studio that you said wasn't around when you spent some time here.
Matt, this place doesn't even, I can't believe how great this place is. This is spectacular, and meeting all the students that put together this great show, this is phenomenal.
We really appreciate hearing that. So I'm going to dive into some questions. The first thing that I'm sure a lot of people want to hear, me especially, is a little bit of a career background. Where'd you start? How'd you work your way up to getting the job of the play-by-play commentator of the Pittsburgh Pirates? Where'd you go to school? Make sure to include that as well.
Yeah, well, Point Park, of course. Point Park, I'm an alum. But it's a long, this is an hour-long show. No, it would take an hour or more to get to, because Matt, as you know, everybody has a different story to tell, how they got to wherever they are in life, and mine was very unique. I actually tried out for the mascot job. I was the backup Pirate Parrot for a while, and then I was an intern at the Pirates front office while going to Point Park. Spent 10 years in the front office doing everything imaginable: marketing, promotion, sales, public address announcing. Another alum, a classmate of mine, Bob Pompiani, called me one time. He was working at KDK. I was with the Pirates. He called me. He said, WFMJ-TV in Youngstown, NBC affiliate, is looking for a weekend sports anchor. I think you'd be good at that, and I know that's what you want to do. Long story how I got that. I did. I worked a summer as the weekend sports anchor at WFMJ-TV in Youngstown, and then along came this opportunity to do minor league baseball up in Buffalo, New York. They happened to be the AAA affiliate of the Pirates at the time. They were looking for a part-time broadcaster and someone who could put a little radio network together, which I had done when I was with the Pirates. We had about a 50-station radio network with the Pirates. So did that. I went to Buffalo, broadcast not only minor league baseball, but the sports director up there, WGR Radio 55, Pete Weber, who's now the voice of the Nashville Predators. Wow. He threw me into the deep end of the pool, Matt. He not only had me doing some play-by-play on the radio broadcast for the baseball team, I did sports talk. I did morning anchoring on the radio station. I did pre- and post-game between periods work for the Sabres. I did color work for the Buff State basketball team. And then I started hosting the general manager show of the Buffalo Bills, the head coach's show of the Buffalo Bills. Eventually, the owner of the radio station and people from the Buffalo Bills suggested I be the color announcer for the Buffalo Bills. I did that. And so spent 5 years up in Buffalo. The job opened up a second time with the Pirates. I got rejected the first time 4 years earlier, but the second time I sent my tape and resume in, I got the gig, and here I am.
That's an incredible story. A lot that I just learned, because I got the opportunity to work with you on a summer camp. We'll get into that summer camp, and we'll talk about some things like that. But I want to ask you, what was the most important thing that got you? Was it like the opportunities, or was it like connections?
I mean, connections, I've said this to some other folks around here I've talked to over the years about, not that it should be a negative connotation, but for me, it kind of does. Like, it may be more relationships than connections, because connections for me means you're going to go out and just, oh, I want to meet that person because he might get me a job or she might get me a job. You're a good person, you meet people, and you're curious, you're interested in any walk of life for that matter. And I think that is what probably helped me as much as anything. And I tell the story, and I've got to find the name of the professor here at Point Park. And I think it was one of these studios back here, which has been way different. But it was a tiny cubicle back then. But Matt, one assignment we had was to hand in a 5-minute newscast, to write the newscast and hand it in. And I'm really dating myself, but back then, I think, or maybe I'm just a dinosaur anyway, but back then I think it was like a reel-to-reel tape. I don't even know if you know what that means, but these are like actual real films, audio film, that you would edit out and literally cut and paste. But anyway, we had to submit that, and when I got it back, and again, I wish I knew the name of the professor, but I tell this story that what catapulted me, I think, to become a broadcaster. I always thought I had some talent, but it wasn't certain as I was going to Point Park and going to broadcast journalism school. But on the front page of my script, in big, bright red ink, it was A++. Greg, do not pass go. Go directly to a job in broadcasting. And then he signed his name, our professor here at Point Park. And not that that happened. I didn't go directly to a job, but
Yeah,
but
right.
it for me it just kind of confirmed my thought that if I work hard and do what I need to do, maybe I can get a job in broadcasting someday.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's very, very important for me to know, especially a lot of people in the studio, a lot of people that are going to watch are going to be really, really interested in knowing what is going to help them the most. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and focus specifically on the job. What is a preparation like? Like, when do you start preparing for a game, and what are some important notes that you always try to make sure you write down about that game?
I want to go back just for a second, backtrack on the thing about that. That's not my great advice to try and get a job. My advice is, and this goes now to this question, it's work. Like I tell people, Matt, I've got a modicum of talent. I've got this much passion and enthusiasm and work ethic.
Gotcha.
Like nothing, if you want to do something, I don't care what it is, nothing will stop you. But you have to have the drive and desire. Otherwise, forget it. I've met too many people who said they'd love to be a broadcaster, love to be a play-by-play, love to do this, love to do that. And then I meet with them, and it's like I'm meeting a bump on a log.
Yeah.
Well, have passion for something in life,
Right.
whatever it is, and then have that dream and go for it. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. And just stay focused on it, and don't let anything stop you from it. So now to the question about prep. I could, this is not a lie. You could get up, in my job anyway, and this goes, I think, for any broadcaster, you could get up at 6 in the morning and prepare until first pitch at 6:40, and it would still not be enough time because there's so much information that you can gather, so many little things, little nuggets you can find, and there's just not enough time in the day. So you try and parse out that time as best as possible. A lot of time as a major league broadcaster is not only preparing for a game, but it's doing all the other ancillary things, like interviewing another alum at Point Park, our manager, Don Kelly, other managers, players, talking to them, maybe not doing interviews, but getting information from them, going on the internet and finding information, voiceover work, shaking hands with sponsors and fans and friends and so on. So it's quite time consuming, but it's incredibly gratifying. And at the end of a long baseball season, which we just completed, I'm really happy with the work that I and we put into it. I'm also happy that for the next few months I can kind of take a deep breath and relax.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. So another thing that some people might not know about you is that you actually help with a summer camp with Point Park University. I am very, very grateful I got to assist with that, show some students some tips or tricks, but mainly also got to mock call a game with you and Bob Walk, which was awesome. What do you want students to get out of that camp? Like, what do you want to see the next generation learn about broadcasting and the ins and outs of the industry?
Well, I think,
camp?
by the way, not to interrupt you there, Matt, but and thank you for your work, because we couldn't have done it without your help.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And Point Park was so gracious with what they did and all the people that got involved. It's just the start. Yeah, Kyle, and but so many people helped, and it's just the start, just the beginning. And for me, I look at it like, man, if I were that age and trying to think about becoming a broadcaster, what an opportunity to go to a Major League Baseball broadcast booth, ballpark, broadcast a game with the Major League announcers. That's a learning experience in itself. But I also think that maybe and we went to the studios at FSN Pittsburgh as well, got a chance to hang out at the desk there and talk to some of the people that run the pre and post game shows, and just an opportunity really to find out, is this kind of what I want?
Yeah.
And maybe it kind of lights a fire, like, yeah, this is it. I want this. I want to be here someday. I want to be in a Major League Baseball broadcast or in a studio. And if not behind the desk here, all the other jobs that are involved, Matt, you know that. The work that gets involved. I tell people that it's incredible how many people are involved in putting on a Major League Baseball broadcast, not just the announcers, the stage manager, the producer, the director, the associate producer, the associate director, the TDs, all the people in the truck, the cameramen and women all over the place. You've got folks that run here on these shows, teleprompters, so many people trying to put this whole thing together. And when it works, when you have a good game, you have a good broadcast, and all the people kind of come together, it's like putting on a great symphony. Everything, all the instruments work, all the musicians are working in tandem as a team, and it comes out and it's a beautiful finish to what we hope will be a winning game. But regardless, it's a well-produced and well-done broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of a more general fun question. What's like the favorite part about your job? Because when you, like on paper, it's very glorified in a sense. Like it sounds very, very fun. Of course, we're in Pittsburgh. Everyone loves the Pirates, and they're so used to hearing you. They love hearing you, I'm sure. So what's something that
I
you...
don't know about that. Thanks for saying that. Is that in the teleprompter?
No, it's not.
No.
Came up
You
with
went
it on
off
the spot right
script
here,
again.
right? No, but what is like overall your like the part you enjoy the most? Just real quick.
You know, but for me, it's the prep. It's the prep. It's when I get to the ballpark, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's all quiet. The grounds crew is working on the field. I'm up in the 4th level. I'm looking down. The windows are open to see the skyline, and I'm prepping for a game, and uninterrupted, and I'm getting ready, and that's my most enjoyable part of the day.
Well, that's so amazing here, and I want to thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on.
brother.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for you this week. I want to thank you so much again for coming
Thanks,
on.
Matt.